According to Samsung, it's the device that nobody saw coming, and now it's evolved into a full product line, including full-size tablets. The Galaxy Note 2 is coming to the US later in the year on 5 different carriers, and with it comes some pretty awesome software improvements. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and in this video, I'm highlighting 7 of the best software features on the Galaxy Note 2. Let's dig in. In today's Android world, it's all about the software. We see so many Android devices on a regular basis with awesome specifications, but I think in today's market, it's all about how you can distinguish yourself amongst your software. All the new software features that various manufacturers provide, that's how you distinguish yourself. With unique features like that, Samsung realizes that, and they brought a wealth of awesome features to the Galaxy S3 and have improved upon quite a few of those features on the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. Let's take a look at what I consider to be 7 of the best software features on the Note 2. One of those is quick access to Memo. So I'll pull my S Pen out and it'll bring up the Page Buddy, which we'll talk about in just a second, but this is one of my favorites. Press and hold the button on the S Pen, double tap, and instantly wherever you are, it will bring up an S Note. Now from here you can say something like 7 o'clock meeting reminder, and you can save it, and it'll go into your S Note files, and you can easily get rid of it, or save I should say, and then remove and go right back, and you can open up that S Memo at a later point. Number 2, and this kind of advances on number 1, S Pen enhancements overall. Not only have they changed the actual S Pen itself, you can see it's longer and wider than the previous Galaxy Note. They've improved it there, but they've also improved it within the software as well on here. For example, you'll notice much like the Note 10.1, you'll see a cursor wherever you are, and obviously when the S Pen is detached from the device, it'll show the pen mark up here. Another neat feature is the ability, when you check it, if the note strays too far away from the pen, it'll let you know via a message on the display. So you never lose them, you can always keep them together thanks to good reminders like that. But the S Pen enhancements really carry over into software, which I'll show you on Page Buddy, for example. Page Buddy, and this is something again that's enhanced on a lot of different fronts, and you get Page Buddies with things like earphones, your S Pen, roaming, and when you dock the device. Now you'll notice when I pull out the S Pen, it brings up an 8th home screen. It'll say S Pen has been detached at the top, and it brings up an S Pen, what's called a Page Buddy. From here I can customize those pages by clicking there, and you can see S Pen page, earphones page, docking page, and roaming page. So whenever the S Pen's pulled out or you plug in your earphones, not only will it bring up a specialized page, but it'll also bring up recommended shortcuts in the notifications depending on what you pulled out. So obviously the S Pen is pulled out, it's bringing up gallery, settings, video player, Page Buddy, and then this little number right here, the ability to quickly go in and go back to quick commands. This is something that the Note 2 is great at. For example, if I want to send an email, I can say @James or !weather and see web search for the weather. Shortcuts, this is a nice enhancement to the Note 2 as well. Another great feature, blocking mode. We'll jump right into that so you can see in apps and in settings. Blocking mode's a new feature very similar to Do Not Disturb on iOS, where I can come in here and when enabled, notifications will be disabled, things like incoming calls, overall notifications, alarm and timer, LED indicators. I can set the times, and I can always make exceptions thanks to an allowed contacts list. So perhaps mom or dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, husband, wife, you can make those part of the allowed contacts list, where those will always roll through. But blocking mode is great when you just need that added level of privacy so you get a full 8 hours of sleep. This isn't a feature that's unique to the Galaxy Note 2, but it is a feature that works really well with the Note 2 and the Galaxy S3, the two devices that do have this Samsung feature. It's called SBeam, and not that information sharing by that method's anything new, but the marketing power of Samsung combined with the way that they've integrated it into the user interface makes it a great solution. Like any good idea in technology, it often needs marketing dollars and integration into other services, and they're doing just that. So for example, I can come over here and highlight a couple of pictures. As you can see, I can bring these devices together, I can touch to beam, I can separate the devices, and before you know it, this device will have those pictures as well. It's SBeam, it's great for when you're at a wedding, you're on a trip, you're taking a lot of pictures and you want to share them with whoever's on the trip. It's quick, it's easy, and you get those pictures over in your personal gallery. Have you ever been laying down intending to read something and you go to lay down and you're thinking, I'm going to read this, and then it swifts over into landscape mode and you're like, oh, this is annoying. perhaps you say it a little bit differently. But then you come up here to turn off screen rotation because you just can't get it to stay in portrait orientation like you want it to. You don't have to worry about that on the Galaxy Note 2. You can come into Applications, Display Settings, and click on something called Smart Rotation. And what it does is it disables the auto screen rotation by checking the orientation of your face with the front-facing camera and keeps it the way that you want it. So if you're in portrait, you go to lay down, it'll check and see where your face is, and it'll keep it in portrait if it needs to stay in portrait. One of my favorite features for when you're trying to read something and you're laying in bed, no longer do you have to come up here and turn off screen rotation. And last but not least, the improved S-Note features and S-Memo features here. I'll go in and select a note, and as I've talked about in the review, I can come up here and do really cool things like shape match, formula match, and handwriting to text. Now again, this isn't new to the Galaxy Note 2. We saw this in the ice cream sandwich rollout on the original Galaxy Note. It's called the Premium Software Suite. And I can do things like this. So if I'm in a geometry class, perhaps I'm taking notes for a meeting, I want to do a circle chart, something of that case, a pie chart, and I want it to be as symmetrical as possible, I can easily use these features. Formula match is great, and handwriting to text is pretty cool as well. I can come in and say, hey, and it'll automatically customize it over into text, and it's super easy and great for meetings, great for class, and more. Those are some awesome features on the Galaxy Note 2, and Note 2 brings some great things to the table, and this time around, it's coming to 5 US carriers later in the year. With a powerful spec sheet, it's going to be one of the hottest smartphones of 2012, and it's got some software features that really bring it above the rest on the market. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of the Note 2, the Galaxy S3, the One X Plus, and all of these hot devices, Android, iOS, and Windows Phone on the site. If there's a feature you like, let me know on Twitter, PhoneDog_Aaron, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.